Hello everybody, hopefully you can hear me okay. My name is Alistair Challens, I'm Marketing Executive at Excitec. I'm here today with Steve Musitano, Senior Application Specialist at Datec. Stephen's going to be taking you through the bulk of the webinar today called Introduction to Revit Structure 2013.
What I'm going to do now is just switch my screens over and we'll get into Revit proper, and I'll take you through this high-level presentation as I mentioned. So I'm working on a particular model today. This is mainly a steel-based model, to be honest, but it will give you a flavour of what Revit's about. As we can see, one thing to mention to start with is that Revit 2013 is now mainly supplied in the Building Design Suite solution of software, and that actually includes all three versions of Revit. You'll notice at the top of the screen here I've got my architectural tab and my structural tab. What I'm going to do is actually get rid of my architectural information using the user interface. So it's just a matter of unticking the menu tabs that you don't want to use, as this is a structural demonstration. I'm only interested in the structural content. And that'll update my menus instantly. Again, there's no problem about having all the menus on if you wanted to. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got our structural model. This is what we're going to aim to produce over the next sort of 50-55 minutes or so during the demonstration. Before I start anything though, what I want to try and get through is the coordination that Revit delivers to you immediately you start using a Revit type of approach. What I'm going to do is just zoom into this 3D model here and select this particular column. Now, the eagle-eyed view will see that all of the other views have updated with that selection. So this small call-out that I've created, the front call-out, even the graphical column schedule. Again, we don't use these very often now, but again, this is just a byproduct that Revit can create from the instant click of a button. But we can see that that column has been selected there, and also if I zoom in to the plan view as well. The reason that that's been selected in all the views is because we're working in this coordinated environment, and it doesn't matter which view that I work in. If I make a change by pressing the delete key to remove that column, all of the other views, there's a slight lag because of the web, but all of those other views will update, there we go, instantly almost with that change. And that's the coordination that Revit delivers to you immediately you start using this type of approach. Let me just undo that and you can see that it is instant. Okay, so one other thing to look at is, I mentioned about a physical and analytical model. Within Revit, we're actually looking at a combination of both views here. If I just expand that to a single view, just make it a little bit easier on your screens, there we go. We've got a little tool down at the bottom of the screen that I can say temporarily display only the analytical model, and what this does is turns off the physical geometry within this model view, and what we're left with is the analytical stick model, which is an exact representation of the physical model that we're generating. And this is the data that Revit sends out to the analysis applications. And it actually uses it with some of the subscription tools, which hopefully I'll try and show you during the demonstration as well. Okay, so we're going to work up to producing this. So what I need to do is just close this model down, and we're going to start from scratch with my stage one. Okay, so this is a blank project apart from a few views that I've set up, again, really for demonstration purposes. You'll notice from my browser I've got all the views generated, and quite a lot of the content's already previously loaded. Again, this just helps the demonstration move quite smoothly. So we need something to work from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import another Revit file. So this is my Revit architecture file, and I'm just going to drop that down here. Now, all the Revit file has got in it, the architectural file has got in it, I've just stripped it out a little bit, so it's only got the grids and levels. That's really all I'm interested in at this stage to work this particular project up in Revit Structures. But we are approaching this in a collaborative way. We're actually using this Revit information from the architect as a native Revit file. We're not working with DWGs, but we could be. Again, this could be just a 2D representation of the grid. This is the Revit linked file, and what we're going to do is suck some of the intelligence out of it and use that as a basis to work on with our structural model. So what I need to do is go to my collaborative tab, and we're going to use what we call the copy monitor tool. So I'm going to select the link that we've just imported, And now I can go through, let me just show you the options. You can see that there's a number of different types of components that we can actually link into Revit, or copy and link into Revit, including levels, grids, columns, walls and floors. And we can actually choose, for instance, the architectural column, the original type of column that may have been specified, and actually change that out to what we think we should be using within the Revit Structures environment. The same goes for walls, floors, grids and levels as well. So all this is pretty much set up as I want to use it. What I actually want to do is just take those grid lines and pull them into my Revit environment. So we use the copy tool, and then it's just a matter of picking these individually. And what you'll notice is you get this little heartbeat glyph appear after I've selected the particular components. And this just identifies that we've copied it into the Revit Structures project, and we're now monitoring it. And this is quite important because at any time the architect's model changes, one of those grid lines potentially changes, we reload that model. We can run what we call a coordination review, we can see up here, and actually go through and find out where those changes are, and then go through a process of whether we want to use them or whether we want to take them back to the architect or discuss them further. So what we've now got, as I hover over these objects, we've now got native Revit Structures grid lines.